I'm here to talk about somebody that might confuse some of you because you might not even know who he is unless you watch the NFL Combine, but it is Jeff Caldwell. My favorite part about Jeff Caldwell is I had so many reasons why I was going to watch him play this year. I knew the Steelers needed a receiver, so I took it upon myself to watch as many receivers as I thought would be worth my time in the 2025 college football season. He was one I landed on, but also I was watching him for his wide receiver play, but I was also watching him because of Sorsby, his quarterback. I thought that they would make a dynamic duo, and so I became interested in him very early. Cincinnati silently was really having a good season until they weren't. And so being able to watch him, see him, and do all of those things has been super exciting. He was my third or fourth person that I added to this list because he was on my watch list to begin with at the beginning of the season. And I am so glad that I took the time to watch Jeff play a little bit for the Cincinnati Bearcats. He is a type of athlete I get excited about because there's so many intangibles that he possesses. There are so many things that he has. The first thing that stood out to me was that he was 6'5". And I knew playing in the Big 12, that offense was going to find a way to get him the football. And heading into the season last season, in the offseason last season, a lot of people were really high on Sorsby as a quarterback. What I decided to do was I looked at all the teams heading into last season where people were really high on their quarterbacks. And so once I picked out who that was, I figured out who on certain teams that I was going to want to watch and stay with throughout the season and check out what they're doing. And they're in the Big 12. And if Colorado managed to get their crap together, they were at some point maybe going to have to play Cincinnati. So that is why I wanted to watch Caldwell play. The other thing that's really fascinating with me with watching him play is his red zone threat was super impressive to see. Watching him move on a football field is very impressive to see as well. I was also excited to see that he was invited to the Combine. It's so funny how the NFL finds players that I think are like hidden players, and the NFL is like, absolutely not. Like, you're coming to the Combine. Like, come on, let's go. So let me talk about some of the things that happened at the Combine, some of the things you might know, some of the things that might surprise you, and just give you a little bit more background on this guy's measurables, because a lot of you are wondering, who the hell is Jeff Caldwell? Well, let me tell you who he is. All right, as you can see here, Jeff Caldwell went to the University of Cincinnati. He is a Bearcat. He is from Louisville, Kentucky, depending on where you're located in this great country is depending on what you call Louisville, Kentucky. He's a senior. You can see the height. He's 6'5", arm span. You can see all of that. I do not even need to go into all the things that he has done, but what is super impressive to me was the fact that he ran a 4.31 on the 40. I knew he was fast. I could see him in the games that he was fast. Actually putting that time on record was impressive to me. So watching him run was the first thing that I noticed. I was like, okay, that's kind of what I saw him do in the games. And so I was fascinated with Caldwell. I believe that he is going to be one of those prospects that when he hits and if he figures it out, he is going to be fantastic, and some team is going to be very happy to have him. The risk for Caldwell is that sometimes he doesn't play his size. Sometimes he doesn't play 6'5". I feel like I don't know if I want to use the word timid, but there's sometimes where I feel like he hasn't really grown into his body. Maybe that's what it is. We all know those tall people that do things where you're kind of looking at them and you're like, do you realize that you can just like grab the thing on the top of the shelf? You don't even have to stand on your tippy toes. Like, you don't even realize how tall you are. That is something that I've noticed with him. It's almost like he hasn't learned how to use his frame, and he hasn't really learned how to like bring that aggressiveness out of him to go and attack the football. And when you play receiver in the NFL and you're 6'5", you have to learn how to be physical and you have to learn how to go grab the football. So that is something that I think is a risk, because we don't really know what his attitude is like. We don't know if he's going to come out of that shell. We don't know if he was playing like that because he was with Cincinnati and towards the end of the season, you could just kind of tell they weren't going to win football games. I don't know if that's his character. I don't know if that's his attitude. I don't know if it's his lack of discipline. I don't really know, but it is a risk, because when you are 6'5" in college football and you can run the 40 that fast and you have that stature and you have all of those physical attributes, of course, it's a little nerve-wracking to try to understand, like, what happened? Why are your numbers not bigger? Why do you not have more numbers? Especially if Sorsby is a good quarterback, what happened there? However, it is what it is, right? None of these prospects are perfect. That's kind of why I picked them. When Jeff Caldwell hits, he will be a big hit. He will be a big hit not because he's 6'5", but he will be a big hit because he is going to bring tremendous value to whatever team he is on, because he is a big target, he has a big radius, he can move, he can catch the football, he can do all the things that you want him to do. I mentioned at the top of this video, I started watching him because I knew the Steelers were going to need another receiver or two in the draft, and so he became somebody that I wanted to watch. The fascinating thing about him is if he goes to a team that already has a solid wide receiver one, even a solid wide receiver two, I believe he is going to add value wherever he goes, as long as there's other pieces already in place. I don't feel like at this time he can go to a team and like be the number one and be a solid number one. He could 100% go somewhere that has experienced receivers and they could teach him how to play receiver, how to play into his size, and he is going to be very great somewhere. But if he hits, he is going to be a solid wide receiver two, a very, very, very solid wide receiver three. And who knows, if he gets somewhere and he has the right attitude and he really learns and accepts his role in the NFL and grows into that body and really wants to be there and has that desire, he could be a star. Not just like a kind of star, he could be a star. He moves well, he's fluid, he does all the things that you need him to do as a receiver. The only really thing he's lacking is that aggressiveness, is that ability to really go up and snatch the football out of the air. It's kind of funny because there are some guys that I'm talking about in this series that I feel like are very aggressive. And what they do in football, what makes them great in football is how aggressive they are, how they attack the football, how they just go make plays, how they have an eye for the football. If Caldwell had that skill set, he would be first round, no questions asked. That is where he's lacking, but he can gain that because he has all the other attributes. He has a great prospect. I was super excited to not only have him on my list, I was excited to actually be able to watch him play in college football, and then I was excited to watch him perform in the combine. Wherever he ends up, he's going to be great. I would not be upset if my Steelers got him in round 2 or round 3. I don't think he is worth a first round draft pick right now. Eventually, he could be worth a first round draft pick, and I can't wait to see what it looks like. And I know some people are in my comment section right now really wondering, like, who is this guy? What is she doing? Why is she talking about him? I want to encourage you, if you do not know who Jeff Caldwell is, do some research. Take some time, do some research, find out what he is, find out what he does well, find out what he doesn't do well, and then tune into the draft to see which team he goes to. One of my favorite things about doing series like this are for people like Jeff Caldwell, people that might not have a big name, but people that are looking for big names, people that are looking for maybe that person that they don't know about, or maybe a couple of people that they want to know more about. You will not be wasting your time. If you just take a little time to research, if you do a mock draft, he would be a great person to have in your mock draft. I would not be upset if the Steelers got him. I know I've now said that twice, just putting it out there. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let me know if you knew who Jeff Caldwell was before I recorded this video. And don't lie to me if you don't know who he is. It's okay if you don't know who he is. Trust me, there's a lot of people I don't know who they are. There's too many players to keep up with. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comment section below. As always, I'll see you in my next video.